Who is a showman? A showman is someone skilled at entertaining and captivating an audience, often with theatrics or dramatic presentations.
Let's talk about Ronaldinho. If you take my generation, we're all gonna say Ronaldinho was favorite. His prime was maybe 2, 3, 4 years.
Exactly.
He should have more, but what he bring on the pitch.
There was a time when football wasn't just about stats, tactics or transfer fees. It was about joy, about art, about the sound of a stadium gasping in disbelief. It was about magic. And at the heart of it all was one man. A man who danced with the ball like it was a part of him, who turned defenders into cones and games into parties. A man who didn't just play football, he reimagined it. He never chased the spotlight followed him. But like all beautiful things, it didn't last forever. When he left, the game changed, the magic faded, the smile disappeared. This is the story of Ronaldinho, the last true showman, and how football lost its soul when he walked away. Before the flashing lights, the sold-out stadiums, and the standing ovations, there was just a kid, barefoot on the streets of Porto Alegre, chasing a ball like it was a treasure. His name was Ronaldo de Assis Moreira, but to the world, he would become Ronaldinho, the little Ronaldo. A boy who didn't just love football, he lived it. In Brazil, kids don't learn football, they absorb it. On the beach, on concrete, on dirt. But even by Brazilian standards, this kid was something else. By the time he was 7, he could juggle anything. Oranges, bottles, even a balloon for 10 straight minutes. By 13, he once scored 23 goals in a single game. Yes, 23. Ran in his blood. His older brother Roberto was already a professional, but Ronaldinho, he was born with something different. A gift, not just for the game, but for joy. At Grêmio, he made defenders look like extras in a movie. With one flick, one touch, one grin, he could make a stadium erupt. Scouts didn't just take notes, they asked if what they were seeing was real. Brazil had produced legends before, Pelé, Zico, Romario, but this felt different. This wasn't just brilliance, this was art with a pulse. He was still just a teenager, but the world was already watching, and the magic, it was only beginning. When Ronaldinho arrived in Europe, football was already undergoing significant changes. More money, more tactics, less room for the street. But then came this Brazilian, with crooked socks, loose laces, and that permanent smile. He didn't care about fitting in, he came to light it up. At PSG, it wasn't always smooth. He clashed with managers, showed up late, trained when he felt like it. But when match day came, the show began. He twisted defenders like pretzels, nutmegged anyone breathing, and scored goals that looked like they belonged in cartoons. Free kicks from impossible angles, chips from outside the box. Football was serious business until Ronaldinho touched the ball. But it was in 2002, under the bright lights of the World Cup, that the world truly woke up. Brazil was in top form, and Ronaldinho, he was the spark, the flicks, the dribbles, the audacity, and then came that goal, the lob over David Seaman from 40 yards. Was it a cross? Was it a shot? It didn't matter. Was Ronaldinho, smiling as England stood still. He returned to Paris, a global icon, but Paris wasn't enough anymore. The big clubs came calling, and one of them saw the future, Barcelona. In the summer of 2003, Barcelona was in crisis. No trophies, no joy, no identity. And then came Ronaldinho. Signed for €30 million from PSG, many doubted the move. Too flashy, too undisciplined, too much samba, not enough structure. But in his very first league match, he answered. A run that started in his half. A 1-2, a thunderbolt off the crossbar. Camp Nou erupted. The magician had landed. Ronaldinho didn't need a system. He became the system. Every flick, every shimmy, every no-look pass reminded fans what they'd been missing: joy. But the season wasn't easy. Barcelona started poorly, sitting 12th in the table by mid-season. Yet, as Ronaldinho warmed up, so did Barca. He wasn't just dazzling, he was dragging the team back to life. And by the end of the season, they finished second, only behind Valencia. It wasn't a trophy, but it was a resurrection, a statement. Ronaldinho wasn't just a signing, he was a saviour. 2004-2005. By his second season, the message was clear. This was Ronaldinho's kingdom now. He started the season firing on all cylinders. Step-overs, flip-flaps, elasticos, every game felt like a street performance played on the biggest stage. And Barcelona, they were untouchable. He was the engine and the showman. 17 assists, 13 goals, countless jaws dropped. Under Frank Rijkaard, Ronaldinho had found the freedom he needed. And with new teammates like Deco and Samuel Eto'o, the puzzle clicked. On May 14, 2005, after years of drought, Barcelona lifted the La Liga trophy. And Ronaldinho? He was named FIFA World Player of the Year, the best footballer on the planet, and somehow still the most fun. But trophies weren't even the highlight. It was how he did it, with a smile, with laughter, with a kind of magic that made grown men feel like kids again. 2005-2006. This was the year football stopped being a sport and became a theatre. Ronaldinho was now untouchable, a global superstar, a walking carnival of brilliance. Barcelona was flying, scoring goals for fun and winning matches with swagger. Ronaldinho's stats were elite, 26 goals, 20+ assists, but even that didn't tell the full story. Then came that night. Santiago Bernabéu, November 2005. He picked up the ball on the left, danced through 3 defenders like they weren't even there. Goal. He did it again. Another goal. More silence. And then, the impossible. The Real Madrid fans stood up and clapped. They weren't applauding the scoreline. They were applauding greatness. That season, Ronaldinho won it all. La Liga, Champions League, FIFA World Player of the Year, again, UEFA Club Footballer of the Year, and the love of millions. He had become something bigger than a footballer. He was football's poet laureate. But the showman time at Barcelona and the next season would be his last at the club, 2007-2008. The final season wasn't just a decline, it was a goodbye in slow motion. Injuries piled up, minutes dropped, new stars began to rise. A quiet teenager named Messi, watching and learning. Ronaldinho played just 17 games, only 8 goals. The joy that once flowed through him seemed distant. The fans still loved him, but the magic, it flickered more than it shined. And in the summer of 2008, it was over. Barcelona said goodbye. The world's most joyful footballer left the stage, but his impact, permanent. By the summer of 2008, something had changed. The boy who once lit up Barcelona with an eternal smile now looked tired. The joy, the magic, still flickered in moments. But even he knew the show was coming to an end. Pep Guardiola had just been appointed as Barcelona's new manager. In his first press conference, he spoke of a fresh start, new ideas, a new team built around youth and intensity. Many in the media ran wild with one line, that Ronaldinho, Deco, and possibly even Eto'o were not in the club's plans. But here's what many don't say. Ronaldinho wasn't forced out. He was ready. He felt it. He had given his all. And now, it was time for a new stage. I achieved everything I dreamed of in Barcelona, he later said. It was time for something new. A new challenge, a new city, a new rhythm. And that's when the saga began. Manchester City had just been injected with serious oil money. They were ambitious, aggressive, and ready to make Ronaldinho their flagship signing. The deal almost happened. Talks progressed. Shirts were mocked up. Even flights were reportedly arranged. But Ronaldinho had a different heartbeat. He didn't want to be part of a project. He wanted to be part of a legacy. And for that, there was only one option: AC Milan, the quest to find joy again. When Ronaldinho arrived in Milan, it felt like a renaissance waiting to happen. The club had legends like Maldini, Pirlo, Seedorf and Kaká. He was reunited with Brazilian icons, and at first, it clicked. His debut goal came against Sampdoria, a classic floating header that had the fans roaring. He scored a derby-winning goal against Inter, vintage Dinho, but consistency escaped him. He showed flashes, sure, no-look passes, samba dribbles, magical moments, but fitness issues lingered, injuries nagged, and the spark, that electric Ronaldinho spark, only came in glimpses. Still, Milan finished third, and there was hope he'd return stronger. Then came the 2009-2010 season, and it was Ronaldinho's best in Italy. He was slower, yes, but smarter. He adapted his game, became a creator, a conductor. He ended the Serie A season with 14 assists and 12 goals, topping the league in playmaking. He ran the show against Juventus, scored a hat-trick against Siena, and finally, it looked like he had found himself again. But football doesn't wait. Despite his performances, Milan struggled. No trophies, no European run, and new names were arriving. New names that could take the showman's place. By the time the 2010-11 season started, Ronaldinho was no longer central to Milan's plans. Zlatan Ibrahimovic had arrived, Robinho too. The system was shifting, and Ronaldinho, he was a luxury in a team that needed structure. His minutes dropped, his influence faded. And in January 2011, Ronaldinho made the call. He left Europe, not with a bang, but with a bow. It wasn't the dream ending. There was no farewell tour, no teary send-off. Just one of the greatest players of his generation, quietly stepping off the European stage. But Ronaldinho never chased legacies, he chased happiness. And now he was going home, to Brazil, to play where the samba beat never stopped. But that was the last time the showman was seen by Europe. Football forgot his magic and was now interested in systems, styles of play, ridged tactics, and most importantly, records. Ronaldinho never cared about records. He didn't play for Ballon d'Or, he didn't chase stats. He played for moments. He made the bicycle kick cool again. He turned warm-ups into highlight reels. He'd dribble past 3 men, just to pass backward and smile. Because the pitch wasn't his office, it was his stage. And when he left, something left with him. The freedom, the unpredictability, the soul of the beautiful game. Football is faster, more tactical, more efficient, but something's missing. That spontaneous back heel, that dancing step over, that uncontrollable grin. We've had legends since, we've had greatness, but we've never had another Ronaldinho. Because you can coach brilliance, you can't coach magic. Football didn't just lose a player when he left, it lost its last showman.